Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we're looking at a office chair. This is the Master from Boulies. It was sent to me for free to review for you guys, so as always bear that in mind. I haven't reviewed a ton of chairs on this channel. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do some more. There are some really good channels out there that are more specifically into chairs, so they might be able to give you some more accurate details and feedback than I can. But as more of a general user, I'm going to let you know what I think of this. I did review a gaming chair a little while back. This one is definitely of a higher quality, so hopefully that shows. And yeah, we're going to run through all of that in the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Before we talk about the features of this chair, there are two models. So I'm reviewing the Master, and there's also the Master Max. Before you purchase these, you need to go down to the choose guide and make sure that you fit the required height and weight to use the appropriate chair. And I have the water repellent fabric version in charcoal grey. Once I received the box for this product, it was a little bit banged up. So when I opened up the inside, I was hoping it had good packaging. Bearing in mind, I've dealt with quite a lot of large packages now, especially getting sent e-bikes fairly frequently. I was a little bit disappointed to see the packaging inside, and I felt like it could have used some more protection. There was only some thin layers of foam to protect the chair from the sides, and you'll see that, as I said, there is a fair amount of damage to the box. So these delivery companies can be like that sometimes. It can be a bit hit and miss, but for the most part, deliveries are okay when I receive them. But I just felt like it could have been packaged a little bit better in terms of protection. Putting this chair together should take you approximately 30 minutes. If you're used to putting chairs like this together, you can probably do it even quicker. It does come with 2 Allen keys, so it comes with the tools you need to assemble this chair. I have all my own tools already, so it did speed up the process a little bit. The instructions it comes with are pretty basic, and this is to be expected with most products like this. You do have to do a little bit of guesswork, but it's pretty straightforward and simple. It's mostly the case of unscrewing some bolts that are already attached, positioning the parts in place, and then just rescrewing the bolts back in. And then you need just a little bit of strength if you do have any back issues, just to lift the top part of the chair onto the piston, and you'll be good to go. So the setup process is pretty straightforward for most people. All right, let me walk you through some of the features for this chair. So on the top, we've got our head pillow. And what I like about this one in particular is, unlike a gaming chair I tested before, it came with a head pillow and it was just like super mushy. So when you laid into it, it didn't really have much firmness. This one has a really nice balance. So it's not too soft and it's not too firm. It just feels like they've got it really nice. And the casing on the outside is a really soft, like microfiber finish. So when you put your head on this, it feels really nice. It does have a zip in the back, and it lets you get to the material inside as well. And then to put this on, you of course just use the strap to attach it. Now I'm at kind of the max recommended height for this chair. I am 5'10", about 5'10 and a half. So when I sit on this, my head is in a pretty ideal position. But I think if you're any taller than me, this is not going to be ideal. You'll need to go with the Master Max. This is just the Master model. Let me show you some more of the features. So if I spin around here, we've got a handle on the side, and you can use this to lower yourself backwards. It's just a standard mechanism. So once you push it forwards, it will stay where it is. And then when you pull it back, it's got a spring, so it's just going to come back up. And then you can go really low in this. You could definitely sleep in this chair if that's your thing. I'm definitely not the type that could fall asleep in a chair. I think I've done it once in one of my gaming chairs. I fell asleep for a little bit. But it is very comfortable, especially with the head pillow. So you could pretty easily fall asleep in this thing if you was tired. It is very comfortable. Let's put it back up. We've also got these really nice armrests. So they've got kind of like a plasticky leather type looking finish to them. They are relatively firm, which is pretty normal for armrests. They've got 3 ways you can adjust them, which is really nice. So you've got this little button on the inside here. When you hold that, you can tilt them in or out. And then you've also got a little lever on the side that you pull up, and that lets you adjust them up or down. And then your last adjustment is on the inside here. On both sides, you've got a little button that when you press in, you can slide them out and you can slide them in. So very nice adjustments on the armrest. You should be able to get these in a position you want. I always just tend to keep mine straight. And fortunately for me, with these all the way down, they just slide under my desk. So I got pretty lucky there. Nice logo on the back. I do really like the design of this chair. It kind of has a mixture of kind of like a gaming chair and the normal office chair. It does have that kind of bucket, a little bit of a bucket seat design, but it's not very extreme. Sometimes gaming chairs can lean a bit too much into that and they can not be very comfortable. This is really nice and wide on the legs here at the bottom, so you don't really feel like you're being squished in. You can really easily put your legs apart if you want to, if you've got really long legs. Of course, we've also got our adjustment here. So this one does our height. Right now it's at the lowest point, I believe. So of course you just pull it up and then stand up and it will raise up. And then again to go all the way down. And then on the other side, we've got our lever that lets us tilt. So I think I've got this locked at the moment. So now it's unlocked, so you can see we can tilt back pretty far and then push it down to lock it into place. I've been using this chair now for a couple of days, and I decided to go with this material over the leather ones because in the UK we don't really have many hot days, but in the summer it does get pretty hot in my room. I'm facing the sun like most of the day, so my room just basically heats up like an oven. And so far this chair has been okay, but we haven't really had any super hot days here in the UK, so that's going to be the real test for me. My previous chair, maybe I'll show you, was a very breathable office chair. It had like a mesh back. So that one wasn't very comfortable, but it was very ideal because it kept me cool in summer. And that was one of my main concerns with this chair is it going to be breathable? So far it seemed okay. I have felt like a bit of heat building up in my back, which is normal on a thicker chair like this. But I would say the main plus side of using this chair so far that I've found is it's very comfortable. And that brings us onto the lumbar support, which is another feature I need to show you. So you can see here we've got these dials on the side. One of them adjusts the height of the lumbar support. There doesn't really seem to be a ton of movement in the height. It's very minimal. It kind of almost feels like a couple of inches. So if you get this chair and you feel like the lumbar support isn't in the right position, you don't get a ton of adjustment, so bear that in mind. And then on the other side, we've got another knob, and this one adjusts the how far the lumbar is sticking in or out, so you can get that pretty comfortable. I feel like I've got it in a pretty nice position, and it is giving me a decent amount of back support. But I found overall from using this chair, my main thing that I liked about it is it does feel very comfortable, especially with the built-in lumbar support and the head pillow. If it's something that you do really like having on a chair, this one in particular I do think is very nice. We've gone over the features for this chair. Let's talk about its style and its design, because this is probably my favorite part about this chair. So I hope this makes sense, but for me, the way I would describe this to someone is it kind of has a mixture of a traditional office chair and some of those crazy like bucket style gaming chairs that you see. And I really like that because I wanted something before I even saw this chair kind of like that, something that was between those things. It doesn't look really boring and it doesn't look over the top like some of the really cheap gaming chairs that you see out there. It has a slightly more elegant design. It's pretty stealthy looking with this color choice that I went with. And it has kind of enough to break it up and not be super boring with the nice stripe down the middle and the two accents on the side. I also think the logos are pretty well done. They don't stand out too much and they're pretty tasteful. You've only got one other on the pillow and then you've got one under here if you're not using the pillow. So for me, I think that's one of the main selling points to this chair, and then also the comfort, which we'll get into as well. Let's talk about that now. So I've done some pretty long gaming sessions in this chair now, and I definitely feel it's very comfortable, especially with the adjustable lumbar support. Although it doesn't have a lot of adjustment that you can switch it between, I do feel like I was able to get it in the right position for me, and the comfort level for this has been very good. The only thing I think I may struggle with this chair, and it will be the main test, that will be in summertime, because it does have quite a thick design, which does make it very comfortable. I'm a little bit worried it's not going to be super breathable. There was a couple of days where it was quite warm and my back did start to get a little bit sweaty, but like I say, the main test will be in summer. If you guys want to check back in with me again, you can always leave a comment further down the road, and I will update you on whether I still think this chair is as comfortable and how it performs in hotter weather. But so far, for the comfort, I've been very happy with it. For its price, I think it kind of feels around about where it should be. This definitely isn't a cheap chair, and it doesn't feel like it. I think £300 is probably like the most I would ever spend on a chair. So for me, this is on the high end. What about you guys? Would you spend more on a gaming chair or an office chair at this sort of price? Let me know. If you're on a hard floor like I am, I like the wheels that they've gone with on this chair. They make very little noise when you're sitting on this chair moving around. So if you do have people below you in your house or wherever you're living, this chair doesn't really make a ton of noise because it has these kind of really flat, smooth wheels, and I think they have like a little bit of give to them because they just don't really make a lot of noise when you move around. The only downside is they seem to like be a magnet for dust and dirt. They just like pick it up really easily. A lot of the elements of this chair feel high quality and sturdy, like this metal base here that the wheels attached to felt nice and strong when I was putting it together, and then a lot of the other pieces as well. The only thing I was disappointed with is, it might sound really nitpicky, but this kind of like really cheap plastic that covers the piston, lifts you up and down. This was the only real thing when I was putting this chair together that just felt like really cheap for the price you're paying. Of course, this is like such a minor nitpick, but of course I thought it was worth mentioning. So what are my final thoughts on this chair? Well, it's definitely not going to be the best value chair on the market at £300, but at that price, I do feel like you're getting quite a bit. It's very comfortable, looks and feels high quality almost throughout the entire product. And I think that, you know, for this sort of price, it does feel that it meets kind of expectations that I had. But as always, you should definitely get a second opinion when dropping this kind of money on a product. There are channels out there that specialize more in chairs, so they're probably going to be able to give you a more in-depth, detailed review on this and compare it to other chairs on the market. Hopefully I do get sent some more chairs so I can compare this one to those, and I'll be able to give you a better idea of what I think. But as always leave me a comment down the road if you want to know if my opinion has changed on this chair, how I get on in summer, and yeah, let me know. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for more videos like this one. And of course, I will see you in the next one.